We're going to talk about assessment today. Why do I need to assess? So this comic says, it's 11 o'clock right now. The last 2 hours flew by. I wonder if the teacher said anything important. Why do we need to assess? Assessment is a systematic process of observing and measuring learning or performance against the objective. We're always looking to see, have the students met the objective? We use students' performance data to improve learning through effective feedback. Why do we assess? We look for gaps. We look for measuring learning. We look to see feedback to improve instruction. Why do we assess? Let's face it, to meet our accrediting body. Our accrediting body are looking to see if our students have met the objective and how we know that they have met those objectives. So gaps can be achieved through pre-assessment. Encourage learning, continuous formative assessment, and also measure informative assessment. We seek feedback. We also prepare for the next step. We talked a lot about having the curriculum or the learning objectives, learning outcomes, student outcomes, mean the same thing, aligned with the instruction and the assessment.
Hi, so tell me, how's your first week been in your new position?
Yeah, we're gonna need to talk about that. Honestly, Robbins, I'm miserable. I didn't want to move up. I never asked for this promotion. I don't even like merchandising. So it's not working out. I really want to go back to operations. That's where I've always wanted to be.
Wow. But what about all those people who said you were ready?
Andrea, amazing results. She was born to be a merchant.
Oh man, she is so ready. She's gonna rock it. You gotta bring her on.
She's ready now. Let's promote her.
Who are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. Nobody bothered asking me.
Yeah, should have assessed better.
So notice we should have assessed better, right? We ask the learners, what is it? Where's the gaps? So there's types of assessment. We have the diagnostic, formative, and summative. The diagnostic usually happens before the instruction. So kind of what came first, the chicken or the test? Diagnostics allow us to know what knowledge our students came with or what knowledge they didn't bring with them, to test if they have the necessary knowledge to begin on day one. We diagnostic. So diagnostic assessment assists the teachers to gain understanding of the current situation, knowledge about how to improve, required resources, what action needs to be taken, and then to improve the learning outcome. The formative assessment, and this again the comic, what did you learn today? What did I learn today? Not to raise my hand, that's for sure. When you don't know the answer, they'll call on you. Did they learn what they should have learned? Formative assessment is a process to determine if instructional adjustment is needed. Is there a gap? So for example, if I have a unit test on chapter 1, 2, 3, and it looks like the majority of the students have major gaps, maybe there's something I need to go back and explain. Maybe there's a gap that I did not fill before I go on Unit 2, beginning with Chapter 4. So the formative assessment is a process to determine if instructional adjustment is needed, embedded within the instructional process, also allows for timely adjustment and complements the instruction. Always start with a verb, not a noun. So the objectives, the goal, and the standards look as it is constantly, it is changing. So the targeted instruction, informed teachers, data analysis, respond to data, which is the formative adjustment. Then we go into what's the role of the teacher? Identify learning goals, setting clear criteria, designing assessment, self and peer assessment, questioning strategies. This is another way for looking at the learning progression to determine learning goals and defined criteria of success. So 2 examples of formative assessment in the classroom. Formative assessment asks, did they learn it? What are these kids doing? I'm trying to teach them to distribute and they can't even multiply, right? Here are some assessment tools: brainstorming, conferences, informal discussion, summative verb, oral presentation. All of these are form of assessment. Strategies for formative assessment: summary questions, 1-minute essay, 1-minute talk, analogy prompt, student conference, muddiest or clearest point, self-assessment or self-check. This can be in a form of a multiple choice quiz. It can be in a form of a 3-to-1. It can be in a form of an essay or short paragraph. So strategy is formative 3-to-1. 3 important facts, 3 interesting ideas, 1 insight you discovered, and I have a question. Who has the answer? Fill in your thought. So it's why, who, how, and when. Students' role in formative assessment: where am I now? Where am I going? How do I get there? Assessment for learning: sharing learning expectation, question, feedback, peer assessment, and self-adjustment. So assessment of learning, that's the summative, which is end of the unit, end of the chapter, end of class. Assessment for learning is the formative assessment. Summative learning is at the end of something. So the summative assessment given at the end of instruction. It's used to evaluate learning skills, academic. Examples: project, unit, at the end of unit, course, semester, program, or even school year. Summative assessment can be high-stake tests. Often they're high-stake tests. Standardized state exams are an example. District or interim tests are an example. Finals, often recorded and scored as a grade.